What's up, guys? I'm back, and today I'm building another zoo exhibit. This time we're doing the kangaroos, and I'm doing the voiceover format again. I'm really enjoying it, and also I'm on my MacBook editing this now, so no more Share Factory, no more, like, I can do higher quality editing now, so that's what we're gonna start doing. And yeah, anyways, this is going to be an in-ground exhibit, so, well, honestly, most of the exhibits in this zoo probably will be somewhat in-ground, but yeah, this one's an in-ground. I want to keep it, like, in this center area. I kind of want to have most of my exhibits in, like, the middle, and then kind of build outwards, so that's kind of what we're doing with these. So I'm taking some inspiration from a few like photos I found on Google, and I'll go ahead and put them up on the screen right here real quick for you. So the main bits of inspiration I'm going to take here are the rock walls from the one on the left, and I'm taking like the ground from both of them, and then on the right I mainly want to take that little shed that's in the background. So yeah, there's a lot of creative freedoms in this one. I'm not like taking too much inspiration. I have like a pretty good idea of what I want to go for with this, but it doesn't hurt to have like some inspiration to figure out what direction you want to take your build in. Also, I'm using my MacBook mic for this right now. I think it really is my headset from last episode that was messing up. I really don't know why it's like that. It's not normally like that when I'm in like voice calls or anything, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I'll have to invest in like an actual microphone to use with the MacBook, but y'all are gonna have to like survive with this for now. And also, if y'all could like give me some feedback, like, do you enjoy this faster paced content like I'm doing with this episode right now, along with like the voiceovers? Like, do you enjoy the voiceovers, or do you like how I originally did it, where I talk as I build and try to explain my thought process as I'm like building in real time? Or do you like this voiceover? Also, like, do you prefer me like doing this fast paced, or do you like, me actually taking time to show like every little step that I'm doing? I don't know. I know different people kind of watch these for different reasons, so yeah, just give me feedback, y'all. I will, trust me, I will read. I go through like every comment. I don't get that many comments, so I have no excuse not to. But so yeah, we have this little fence that we have going on now here, and I'm putting on these trapdoors for the top, so that way you can't just slide through the railings. Also, there was like some little ASMR for you right there. Anyway, those trapdoors don't stay very long. I switched them out for one that's more solid. I didn't really like the hole in the center of it, and I started digging out this little area for the underground viewing, but I don't really touch it anymore yet. I kind of just wanted to hold off on that. I was not in a mood to really start doing that yet. But so now I started doing some terraforming, or not even terraforming, it's like texturing with the ground. And then I started working on this little water pool for the kangaroos. And then I started texturing the ground a little bit, making sure to keep the mud further away from the water, because that's kind of how it'd work in real life. Also, side note, these mud blocks sound a lot like the Call of Duty hit markers, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I played too much Call of Duty, or used to at least. I haven't played it in like a minute. But anyway, now we're building this pool and filling it up with water, and I don't know what it is with the slabs and the stairs in this mod pack, or not the stairs, the fences. Like, they just don't work for some reason. I don't know. Like, they're just so glitched. Anyway, I hope they get fixed. But now I'm doing some experimenting with some of the tree and like the trunk and branch varieties in this pack. And honestly, there's a lot of cool things you can do with this that I'll definitely use later on. But anyways, now we're building this little shack, or shelter. Yeah, that's what it is, shelter. I'm building this shelter for the kangaroos. And all I really did, just a little sloped roof. And then I started digging out the bottom, so that way the kangaroos have more room underneath it. And then after digging out the bottom, I did more texturing and textured the walls, and then started adding hay, so that way they can actually have a soft place to sleep. Which also, by the way, hay, it's not soft. it hurts. Like, it's really prickly. Also, I realized that these trunks break the laws of physics, and you can just phase through them because apparently your atoms align perfectly for some reason. But so I switched those out, so I don't have to worry about that. I did kind of enjoy the thin look a little bit better, but for some reason they were all just being glitched, so I have no idea what's going on with that. Anyways, now I'm placing down some of these rocks, or like I guess pebbles around the exhibit. Then I started using some slabs to make some slightly larger, like, stones. And then I started working on this tree. And I did go through a couple variations with this tree. It took me a little minute to nail down a design I liked. And this design that's popping up on the screen right now is the one I decided that worked good enough. And so then I started working on some smaller trees using a cabbage top and some branch, I'm pretty sure. And then I had to do my professional testing to make sure the kangaroos couldn't use these small trees to escape out of their exhibit. But honestly, it was kind of pointless because at the end of this video, I end up slapping on a bunch of barriers to make sure they won't escape no matter what. Then I started adding more shrubbery around the exhibit, and also I started messing with the top of this tree and ended up on this one that looks really good. That one, whatever that was. But then I also decided to go ahead and add more shrubbery around the exhibit. And also, looking back at this, I am probably going to get rid of a fair amount of it because looking back at the reference photos, it was a lot more open and not as much foliage. So I'm probably going to get rid of that. And honestly, I might get rid of the tree too. But I don't know. We'll see when it comes to that. But I think I'm going to keep these flowers in there just to keep that little, pop of color in there. Anyway, now we're bone mealing. Probably going to get rid of most of that, like I said. And now I thought I was done. But then I remembered that I have to still make that underground tunnel for the viewing area. So I started digging out this pathway to figure out how are you going to get there. And so honestly, a lot of my pathway stuff might eventually change. I still don't fully know if I like the pathway block that I chose. That could very well change. But so anyways, now we're working on this little entrance here to the tunnel. Also, side note, this microphone for this MacBook is like low-key pissing me off because I've had to redo so many takes because I just like forget that my volume is up. And when the volume's up, the MacBook microphone remember like can hear the audio from the video, and then you start hearing the audio like doubling, and it sounds really bad. So then I have to like redo a whole take of voiceover, which usually I do like a minute at a time. Also, I don't have a script for this, by the way. I should probably start utilizing that. But so I'm kind of just winging it as I go. But anyways, getting this tunnel going, making it look a lot better. Gotta add glass to make sure, the kangaroos don't get out. We have standards here. Also, I don't really know what else to say while I'm building this underground tunnel. So I'm just gonna shut up and y'all can just enjoy not hearing me talk for like a minute. Okay, I've learned two things about voiceovers. Number one, make sure my volume is down while I'm recording so it doesn't double up. And two, get a script, because this is like getting infuriating. I've had to do so many takes over and over. But anyways, tunnel's done, pathway's done. I decided to add these little andesite things to go along the path. And with that, we are now done with the exhibit, except for this pebble right here. I just had to do that. Anyway, time to add the kangaroos. Kangaroo Jack, if you've seen that movie, you're a legend, okay? Then we have Big Jill, who isn't very big, and Rupert, who is just Rupert. And first thing I decided to do is start checking out their little shelter I made for them, because it's just that awesome. They just love it. Then I realized that I had to go ahead and place barriers to make sure they're stuck here for eternity. Anyways, now that that's done, cue the cinematics. And that'll be it for this episode. So thank you so much if you made it this far and for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.